Hey guys, this is TechGuy276. I watched Alice Through the Looking Glass yesterday at the cinemas with my girlfriend, and it's not one of those films where I actually went out to actually watch it. I only watched it because my girlfriend really wanted to watch it, and I've watched the original. I've watched Alice in Wonderland with the same characters. I do like the introduction of Sacha Baron Cohen being playing the character Time, and his character is deeply embedded within the Alice in Wonderland world. So far, this will contain spoilers. So basically, I'll keep a rundown of the story. I'll give you, it is spoilers as well, so watch out. So I will give a synopsis of the story. Basically, Johnny Depp, Mad Hatter, is basically feeling sad because he was playing around with the characters that he was with, like I don't remember the names, sorry about that, but I don't remember the names, but he was basically playing around with them, and he found this hat, and this hat meant something to him, and we later find out that it was the hat that he first gave to his father when he was a child, and his father just went, this is not right, oh, let me fix this, and then he pulled something out and he threw it straight in the bin, and he said, better luck next time, kid. So basically, that hat and the emotions from that, because he threw it in the bin, he was hurt by it, and then later on, we find out that Mad Hatter's dad finds Mad Hatter a disappointment to him, like all throughout of his life. So Mad Hatter decides to disappear. He decides to run away from his family, and then later on in the years, but we see this throughout the years, that Mad Hatter's family actually get kidnapped, and this is the end. He thinks that they're being killed, but they're actually not. So there is a lot of time travel with this story. Basically, in order to say Mad Hatter's feeling a bit sad because of the hat thing, so the only way Alice can actually fix this is by travelling through time, and by travelling through time, Alice needs a chronosphere, and the chronosphere is everything that makes time work. So, for example, if you take the chronosphere, then the grandfather clock will destroy itself. It'll basically just self-implode for a long period of time. You can have the chronosphere for about 24 hours, but it'll just collapse. So, and if you see yourself, if you go to see yourself in the past, you will break time itself. So Alice is travelling through time, and one of the first examples when she goes to see Mad Hatter is in the past. And she travels back, sees Mad Hatter, introduces herself, and sort of explains why she's there, and then like saying, I'm your Alice, remember me, I'll see you in the future. And then obviously in the original Alice in Wonderland movie, Mad Hatter sees Alice for the first time and says to her, are you my Alice, referring to that moment that happened in the past. So everything's been going along. The Red Queen has an accident which causes, she bangs her head and her head starts expanding, and the angrier she gets, the bigger her head gets. When she's being knighted, the guy who's putting on the crown can't really put on the crown properly because of her oddly shaped head. So then everyone laughs, and then she's not actually, because she stresses out so much and she starts yelling at everybody. Dad then says to her, she's not fit for a queen, therefore making her head bigger, and says, you'll all pay for this, you'll all pay. So time has a significant part in this movie because you jump from different timelines, and you jump from different timelines with time itself, the character, and Alice in different time places. So there's a few, like, something happens in Alice's timeline, and then something happens in Sacha Baron Cohen's timeline according to the changes. It seems to be that my screen has gone off. So Mad Hatter and the rest of it. So for one example, time gets transported to where Mad Hatter and the rest of them are sitting at the table, just like the introduction of Alice in Wonderland. And they're all Time is there, and he says, will Alice arrive? And Mad Hatter just says, yeah, she's been invited and she should come. So Time's waiting on and on and on. Mad Hatter's just wasting time with him. And then like one of the characters start flapping Time's wings and then start saying, haha, Time's flying. So then Sacha Baron, the character, starts getting a bit pissed off. So Time then ends up putting on a curse on Mad Hatter and the rest of it. So it'll always be 1 minute to tea time until Alice arrives. Therefore, when Alice goes when she drops from the regular world into the dining table scene, that's when Mad Hatter and the rest of them can break out of their curse. And the film the special effects weren't fantastic. They weren't anything spectacular. It wasn't a Sun blockbuster. It wasn't Avengers. It wasn't anything in the Marvel universe. But the special effects were just okay to tell the story, to tell everything that was going on, and you understood why it was like understood why certain things were like that. The only thing I have with the movie is there's no suspense with anything. There's an urgency to everything, but it doesn't make you feel like these characters matter. It just feels like you're going through the motions. There's some places where Mad Hatter is just about to die, and there's no scene where anything like that can happen. There's characters go from one scene to the other, and there's no transition between the two. And I just the film is about 1 hour and 43 minutes long, I think. But it doesn't make you care about the characters enough in that scene to establish a relationship with that character, which isn't bad, but I would like to spend more time with certain characters so I know why they're doing things. Obviously there's the first movie where I can spend time with those characters, but I think in the second film they were concentrating too much on the plot and not enough on the characters. And all of this is, at the end, I didn't really care what would happen. I did eventually care about Mad Hatter's story, which is it's his story anyway. But there was no relationship that was formed with the other characters, such as Anne Hathaway, such as any of the other gang from the Mad Hatter gang. I can't remember the names, but anybody else. Yeah, they would make jokes, but I didn't form a relationship with any others. At the very end, time starts to collapse. The Red Queen goes back to the past, confronts her sister, and then confronts herself and points at her and says, "You're a liar, you're a liar, you're a liar." Then time freezes up. It turns into everything turns to rust. So then the rust starts expanding. Alice goes back into the chronosphere, tries to go back to where she got the chronosphere. She travels all the way through, travels through time zones, travels through everything, and the rust, which causes you to freeze, is always a meter behind her. And I mean, she's flying 500 miles an hour, and the rust is just literally millimeters away from her. But when she gets out of the chronosphere, she starts walking. She starts running, and then as she's going along to the place where she has to put the chronosphere on, the rust slows down to centimeter by centimeter by centimeter, and then when it's going along to the edge of her arm, it's even moving along millimeters. It's not. It's something is just there to build suspense. Why is the rust travelling at 500 miles an hour, and then it's also convenient that this rust is also slowing down at the same rate that Alice does. I give this movie possibly, I wouldn't watch it again, but I give it an 8 out of 10 for a good story. I cared about the main character, but I didn't care about the rest of the characters, but I give it an 8 out. No, I give it a 7 out of 10, and that is my honest review. For a person that isn't really into the Alice in Wonderland franchise, I did find it quite enjoyable, but I wouldn't watch it again. It seems that I've rambled on for about 10 minutes now, so I'm going to leave it here. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you next review. Bye!